Hi there, my name is Tim Cornish, and I'm an English teacher. This is an English as a second language lesson for my students. But welcome in. You can listen to if you want. I lived in Japan for a good long time, and what really surprised me about the Japanese knowledge of Canada was that everybody knew about Anne of Green Gables. So the Japanese didn't think of Canada as the maple leaf or beaver or O Canada the Anthem. They thought of Canada as the home of Anne of Green Gables. So today's lesson is going to be on Lucy Maude Montgomery. Canada is often viewed as a land of forests, pioneers, and wild animals. This image is partly true, but perhaps the best known novel about this nation is very different. It is the story of a timid young red-haired girl growing up in a peaceful farm community on Prince Edward Island. Anne of Green Gables, 1908, was written by Lucy Maude Montgomery. This charming tale has been translated into several European and Asian languages and has also been made into films, a musical, and a television series. The great Mark Twain thought its central character, Anne, was the most lovable child in fiction since Alice. For many people, this is the picture of life in Canada. Montgomery was born in 1874 on Prince Edward Island, a rural province off the east coast of Canada. She lived her early life there, except for one winter when she worked at a newspaper on the mainland in Halifax. After marrying in 1911, she moved to a small town in Ontario where she spent the rest of her life. This is the outline of Montgomery's ordinary-seeming life. However, the really important facts can only be discovered by looking deeper. Start by thinking about that winter in Halifax. This detail contrasts with the rest of Montgomery's very quiet life. Why did she go there? She was orphaned at an early age and raised by her grandparents. Life on their farm was lonely for a little girl. Young Lucy amused herself by writing stories, and this gave meaning to her life. For instance, she trained as a teacher, but did not work in that profession for long. Soon she was writing magazine and newspaper articles, and although she came back from Halifax after a few months, she never stopped writing. Montgomery's first novel was Anne of Green Gables. It quickly gained many, many readers. Just a year later, Anne of Avonlea, a sequel, placed first in a list of 50 top Canadian books. Even so, Montgomery was extremely modest about her writing. When she married, most of her new husband's friends did not even realize that she was an author. After moving to Ontario, she continued to discuss her writing very little with those around her, but she kept working. In all, there were 7 books about Anne, 5 more children's books with other characters, a collection of poems, and 2 novels for adults. Furthermore, over 5,000 pages of personal diaries were discovered after her death in 1942. Montgomery's secret world of the written page had almost been more important to her than the real world outside her study doors. For her life's work as a writer, Lucy Maude Montgomery was awarded the Order of the British Empire and the King's Jubilee Medal. She had made it. She became a highly successful writer. Yet she had mixed feelings about Anne of Green Gables. She once commented that the demand for more and more stories about Anne almost made this very private, secretive author bitterly regret having created her. As a pronunciation session now, let's do it this way. I will say Canada, and you say Canada. I will say often viewed, and you will say often viewed. Okay? Try to copy me. You can watch my mouth as I make the words, but I think the more important thing to do is to just listen and repeat. Okay? Canada. Often viewed. Land of forests. Pioneers. Wild animals. This. Image. Partly true. Perhaps. Best known. Novel. About this nation. Very different. Story. Timid. Young. Red-haired. Girl. Growing up. Peaceful. Farm community. Farm. Community. Prince. Edward. Island. Prince Edward Island. Anne of Green Gables. Anne. Green. Gables. 1908. Written. Lucy Maude Montgomery. This. Charming tale. Charming. Tale. Has been. Has been. Translated. Translated into. Several. European. Asian. Languages. Languages. Also been made. Also been made. Films. Films. Musical. Musical. Television. Television series. Great. Great. Mark Twain. Mark Twain. Central. Central. Central character. central character. Anne. Anne. Most. Most lovable. Child. Fiction. Alice. Many. People. This is the picture of life in Canada. Montgomery was born in 1874 on Prince Edward Island, a rural province of the east coast of Canada. She lived her early life there, except for one winter when she worked at a newspaper on the mainland in Halifax. After marrying in 1911, she moved to a small town in Ontario, where she spent the rest of her life. Thank you. That's good for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy pronunciation practice. Isn't this an interesting story? Anne of Green Gables is well worth reading. I hope you get a chance to read it. Have a good day.